Filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of BWT. I'm your host, Teddy, and today we'll be recapping the entire opening weekend. The only series that I will not be going over is the Yankees because I do that on its own. Check out my last episode. I recapped the Yankees and the Brewers series. We got our first comment of the night. Joe Jordan saying, "Let's go," with fire emojis. And my boy Dave saying, "Back to back." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before we get started tonight, I want to make sure you guys are liking this video, sharing it with any baseball fan that you may know, and also subscribing to the channel so you do not miss any episodes throughout the entirety of the baseball season. Also want to make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the other shows on the Refuse to Lose network. We got CTC, RBO, FFC, Dave's Doghouse, Unfazed, In the Red Corner, and Refuse to Lose. Right? We got you covered on all sports, no matter what you like. Hit the links in the description, and they will get you covered no matter what. You won't regret it. We get started talking about the Marlins taking 3 out of 4 from the Pirates, and all 3 wins were walk-offs. It was crazy. They're the 5th team in Major League history to get their first 3 wins via walk-off. The other 4 were the 2003 Devil Rays, 1998 Mets, 1914 KC Packers, and the 1900 Reds. So they're off to an amazing start. The Reds, the Pirates, ooh, they look rough, man. They look really rough. Their bullpen is bad, and it needs some help ASAP. If you know any pitchers that need a job, send them to Pittsburgh because they need them. The walk off today was off of an error. The walk off on Saturday was off of a double. Dan Mayer, he went absolutely crazy yesterday, going 3 for 6 with 2 doubles and a couple runs scored. And then the day before, it was just a routine single, no walk off home runs in that series, but walk offs nonetheless. And for the Marlins to take an opening series, it's kind of crazy because no one really expects anything out of the Marlins. They have a lot of no names in the league, and they went on full sell mode in the offseason. And towards the trade deadline last year, giving up Arias, Tanner Scott. They let go of Jesus Luzardo. So they really don't have any big names, and now they're just going out and winning games, doing the little things that it takes to win games. Right now, they're 3-1, sitting at the. I think they're at the top of the NL East right now. Who would have thought? Opening weekend, the Miami Marlins are number 1 in the NL East. Not me. And if you did, you're lying to yourself. Shout out to Gio, the only Marlins fan that I know, and my boy Quest that I went to college with. And now we get to the Boston Red Sox losing 3 out of 4 to the Rangers. Whew. If you are a Red Sox fan, you might be worried. This offense doesn't look as good as people thought it would. And the main guy is Rafael Devers. Came into camp complaining, no, I play third. I play third. I do this. I do that. No, you strike out. That's what you do. 12 strikeouts and 16 at bats. No hits so far. He only has one RBI, and it was because of a bases loaded walk. And everybody just cheered for him because they need something for him to feel good. Like, yeah, exactly, Joe. LOL. Pretty much. Like, the Red Sox, they went out, they got all these pieces. They got Bregman, they got Walker Bueller, they got Garrett Crochet. They bring up Christian Campbell. Shout out to him for getting his first major league home run this series. And they still can't produce, right? Losing 3 out of 4 to the Rangers. The Rangers are supposed to be a contender this year, right? Bruce Bochy, he has this thing where he wins every other year. Shout out to the Giants from the dynasty back in the day with Posey, Bumgarner, all those guys. They won 3 out of 5, and the Rangers won it 2 years ago. And now they're supposed to be this big thing. Adolis Garcia looks like he's back into the groove. Corey Seager, hopefully he can stay healthy. Um, Garcia got 2 home runs, and the pimp job that he had today. And those unis that they were wearing were clean. Those powder blue unis, they were clean, man. So shout out to the Rangers for beating up on the Boston Red Sox. Uh, on the bottom of the division, where they belong. Not where I predicted, but where they belong. Joe says you strike out, that's what you do. Yep, that's Rafael Devers, man. That's Rafael Devers. Then we go to the Dodgers sweeping the Tigers over the weekend. Carl, I'm sorry. You had to watch your favorite player destroy your favorite team. The game on Saturday night was electric. Back and forth. Mookie with 2 home runs, one of them being a walk-off in the 10th inning. Uh, you guys went up 2, and then they go out and score 3 in that bottom half. Uh, Tommy Edman, he just goes out and continues to hit. Like, yeah, definitely a tough matchup for the Tigers to start the season off. But I like the way that they're playing, right? The Tigers, they're a scrappy team. They proved it to us later in the second half of the season last year that they are going to fight until the very last out. They had a less of a 1% chance of making the playoffs. They ended up doing it and winning a series, sweeping the Astros last year. So I love the way that they play the game of baseball. They play it the right way, with pure heart and grit. It just, like Joe said, man, it was a tough matchup to go against the Dodgers. And Spencer Torkelson looks like he is making a turn for the better. He's batting 444 right now with 1 home run and 1 RBI. He was getting on base a lot during that series, with balls that he would reach for out of the zone last year, and now he's worked on his plate discipline, and that's going to be big for that offense. Javi Baez is still doing Javi Baez things, but that's just what he does. Um, Now we go to the Rays, taking 2 out of 3 versus the Rockies in their new stadium. They are playing in Tampa at the Yankees spring training facility, George M. Steinbrenner Field, because of the hurricane that happened over the offseason. They don't know when that field is going to be rebuilt. They've actually stopped talks about it, which is kind of disappointing because that city needs it right now, based off what they went through during that time. But I mean, they never filled it, right? Baseball in Tampa, it's kind of it's not the best thing to go to, right? But they're always a scrappy team. They're one of those teams that are always in contention. You don't really know why, but Kevin Cash, the manager, does a great job with that team. I feel like they're going to have a okay year, not anything that you like they marvel you about, but they're gonna be all right. Brandon Lowe batted 308 with a home run, two RBIs. Cameron Misner hit 429 with one home run and one RBI. The rookie junior Caminero, he hit 500 with no home runs and one RBI. And Ryan McMahon for the Rockies is currently batting 364 with no home runs and no RBIs. And we go to the Phillies taking 2 out of 3 versus the Nationals. Again, another tough matchup, right? I expect the Phillies to win this division, the NL East, and they're off to a great start with 2 wins in the division. Um, Kyle Schwarber just continues to absolutely mash baseballs. He's batting 385 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Bryce Harper with another opening day home run, making it his sixth of his career. Of course, he does it versus his old team in the Nationals. Keibert Ruiz, he's going to be a big part. He's going to be a big part of that Nationals offense. He's batting 500 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. And Nathaniel Lowe, which was a big acquisition. In the offseason, getting him in free agency from the Rangers. He's batting 462 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Joe, newly acquired Nationals fan, says we got one and could have had two. Yes, definitely. And we played them tough. Yeah, definitely. Josh Bell is going to help you guys out a lot as well. I think you guys made some good moves. You guys signed some veterans to help the young guys like Dylan Cruz and James Wood out in that offense. Um, I just I just think they need a couple more years, right? But you got yourself an ace. Mackenzie Gore, absolutely disgusting. He went out and pitched his tail off on opening day. 13 Ks. Shout out to Edmundo Sosa. Yes, 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 yes. He's a great player as well. Um, and CJ Abrams, he didn't really do much this series, but I know he will contribute to that offense a lot. And I love his defensive range and all that. So you guys are heading in the right direction. I can say that. Now we go to the Orioles splitting a 4-game set with the Blue Jays. We got Adley Rutschman batting 313 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. What he did in the offseason, he dumped his influencer girlfriend. He got in the gym, put on some weight, came into the spring early, and started mashing baseballs. Got to get focused. Got to get locked in. He's had 2 playoffs where they don't win a game, and I know that is getting to him. He's one of the key leaders on that team, being a catcher and former number 1 prospect in their organization and the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So he's got high hopes this season. I just feel like they didn't do enough on the pitching side of the ball. Um, to help that team out in the offseason. Tyler O'Neill, opening day, Tyler O'Neill home run. You can almost book it. 6 straight years. He's done it, setting his an MLB record, uh, extending his own record, which he did last year and the years before that. He's absolutely insane. If you didn't bet money on it, you're lost. But it was kind of like free money. He's batting 400 with 1 home run and 4 RBIs. And Cedric Mullins is off to a hot start as well, batting 313 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And one of my favorite players in the league to watch and follow is Bo Bichette. He came into the offseason. He got a haircut. You know him as Bo Flows because his hair, right? He's he's a great ball player. Right now, he's off to a phenomenal start in a contract year. He's looking to get paid by the Blue Jays. If not the Blue Jays, somebody's gonna get this guy, and I really hope it's not the Dodgers because they need a shortstop, and I know they're going to offer this kid the absolute bag if Toronto does not go forward and make him a deal. He's batting 467 with no home runs and one RBI. George Springer, he just continues to hit, man. He's been such a good hitter for so long. He was part of that Houston team, the Houston dynasty, during the 2015 to 2018 years, and then he went off to uh, the Blue Jays, batting 364 with no home runs and two RBIs. And free agent acquisition Andre Jimenez has two home runs, batting 250 and four RBIs. I say two home runs shockingly because he is not an offensive guy. He's known for his defense. He's one of the best fielders all around in baseball. Platinum glove winner in the at the second base position. Definitely a Gold Glove winner. He is nasty defensively. He's disgusting, and for him to start hitting the ball, that's going to help the Blue Jays out, and they need it. They're going to need it this year because again, that's another team in the AL East that I think didn't do much on the pitching side of the ball, and their offense is really going to have to step up. Then we go off to the Giants, taking 2 out of 3 versus the Reds. Um, we had Justin Verlander make his first start for the Giants, getting a win. Um, we had Terry Francona get his first win as the Reds manager. I expect the Reds to be a contender this season. They had Encarnacion Strand. He's batting 333 with a home run and one RBI. Matt McClain, coming back from injury, he's batting 231 with two home runs with two RBIs. And Helio Ramos batting 333 with two home runs and four RBIs. And Jung Ho Lee also coming back from injury. He is batting 300 with no home runs and two RBIs. I think the Giants are going to surprise some people this year. Watching them play this first series, I think they're gonna I think they're gonna surprise some people. They're in one of the toughest divisions in baseball. I wouldn't say tough as in like all around. It's just tough because it's so top loaded with the Dodgers and the Padres. So it's gonna be really hard for them to compete for the division because they don't have a lot of stars, right? They got Matt Chapman. They got Robbie Ray on the mound. They just acquired Justin Verlander. They have Patrick Bailey behind the dish. They've got Jung Ho Lee. They've got Helio Ramos. They went out and signed Willie Adames to play short. Tyler Fitzgerald makes the move to second base. And they have a new member in the front office, which was part of the dynasty, Buster Posey. And he wants to get them back to their winning ways. And that's one of the things that Justin Verlander said made his decision to end up going there to get the Giants back into their winning habits that they did back in the day. Then we go to the Guardians taking 2 out of 3 versus the Royals. Vinny Pascantino, this dude, he can hit, man. He's batting 333 with a home run and three RBIs. Bobby Witt Jr. off to a little bit of a slow start. He's batting 231, no home runs, two RBIs, and one stolen base. And Michael Garcia is batting 400 with one home run and one RBI. And his home run was an absolute moonshot. When I tell you moonshot, go look it up because it was a moonshot. Um, Stephen Kwan, one of the best hitters in the game. He's batting 500 with a home run and three RBIs. For him to have a home run this early tells me that he's been working on his power in the offseason. Last year, he had about 15 home runs. I'm not 100% sure. But he's not known as a home run hitter. just like Jimenez on the Blue Jays. He's known for just slapping the ball, getting on base, doing what he has to do to set the tone for the rest of the lineup. But now I feel like he's getting into a groove of getting that power. So watch out for him this season in the power department. Gabriel Arias is batting 375 with one home run and two RBIs. And Kyle Manzardo, rookie, is batting 455 with two home runs and six RBIs in the DH spot. That's going to be big. They have Big Christmas, Noel, right? Um, they and Manzardo, they're going to be competing for that DH spot in big games. I feel like versus lefties, Noel is going to be the DH, and versus righties, Manzardo is going to be the DH in that lineup. And I hope Jose Ramirez is okay. He sprained his wrist yesterday diving into second base. He went in head first and rolled over it, and he had to exit the game. And I don't think he played today, so hope he's fine. And for this Royals team, Salvador Perez, just one of the greatest, like players, humans. You talk to any of the where you hear about any of the MLB players talking about Salvador Perez, and they all have so many great things to say about this guy. And for him to be a leader in that clubhouse with the expectations that they have, and it's going to be a big part of that team. The Cardinals surprisingly go out and sweep the Twins this weekend. Um, Nolan Arenado batting 455 with a home run and two RBIs. Lars Nootbaar batting 400 with a home run and four RBIs. And Brendan Donovan is batting 364 with no home runs and two RBIs. For the Twins, there was only one bright spot. Willie Castro, he's batting 400 with one home run and three RBIs. The rest of the offense doing absolutely terrible. Terrible. Carlos Correa is batting zero in the entire season so far. Has not gotten a hit. I know it's very early, but you better figure it out because it's going to be bad if you don't. You are expected to be a big part of that offense after getting that contract that you got 2 years ago. Stay healthy though, because I know that's one of the biggest things. And with them, Royce Lewis is also a big key for that offense, and he also needs to stay healthy. He's currently on the IL, so not off to a great start in that department. Then we got the Mariners splitting a series with the A's. I don't know where to call them. Like I don't know what city to say yet, right? Because they're playing their home games in Sacramento, I believe. But their unis were fire. The opening day unis, fire. That mustard yellow was sick. Um, they went out and they played with number 24 for Ricky Henderson, RIP to the King of Steels. We lost a legend during the off season. Uh, and I know they're gonna go out there and play their ass off for this team and for the city and what's going on with everything. Um, Tyler Soderstrom, 467, three home runs, four RBIs, off to a great start. He had two home runs in opening day and just continued to tear the cover off the ball all series. Julio Rodriguez ended up hitting a home run. This it was the final game of the series. It was a two-run home run in the bottom of the sixth inning, I believe, to give them the win to end up tying this series up. And Andres Munoz has two saves, and Mason Miller goes out. I believe it was Friday night. Goes out there and just dices up the Mariners hitters as you expect him to, striking out the side. He made Julio Rodriguez look like he didn't know what was going on up there. He threw him a fastball in, and then it was a slider way out of the box. He ended up swinging, and then another slider because he's probably sitting fastball because it's coming in at 102, 103, and he just looked at it for strike three, and the game gets his first save of the season. Um, the A's might surprise some people as well. Their offense looked not terrible. Now we go to the Angels taking 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, which was expected. The way it happened wasn't expected, right? They won a game, 1-0. This is a series that nobody probably tuned into. I did because I'm a baseball junkie. I watched almost every game this weekend. And this was, I'm not going to lie, one of the toughest series to watch because the offense was bad um, on both sides of the ball. You had Tyler Ward hitting 333 with no home runs and no RBIs. Um, Luis Robert Jr., he batted 250 on the weekend with no home runs and no RBIs. Mike Trout is off to a bad start. His first at bat of the season, he got hit in the hand. Thank God that he was wearing that little protective guard because if not, he would have got hurt. He would have went to the IL. And I don't know what it is. The baseball gods just don't want Mike Trout to be great. Let this man be great, please. We're begging you. Then we go to the Cubs and the Diamondbacks splitting a 4-game set. Kyle Tucker, newly acquired via trade. He's starting to heat up. He started off slow in Tokyo when they played the Dodgers, as most people do. But now he's batting 261 with 2 home runs in back-to-back games with 7 RBIs. And Miguel Amaya is batting 313 with no home runs and 7 RBIs. So he's not hitting the ball out of the park, but he's coming in clutch for the team when they have runners in scoring position. Ketel Marte is batting 333 with no home runs and no RBIs. Josh Naylor went over there in free agency. He's batting 400 with no home runs and 3 RBIs. And Lane Thomas continues to tear the cover off the baseball, batting 714 with no home runs and 3 RBIs. The game today was insane. The Diamondbacks were down 6-2 in the bottom of the eighth and ended up scoring 8 runs to take a 10-6 lead, which ended up being the final score of that game. The Cubs bullpen, you're gonna have to figure it out because the offense is gonna put up runs. They're gonna put up runs. Shout out to Matt Shaw getting his first career home run, rookie. Um, in that series. Ian Happ continues to tear the cover off the baseball as well. He's one of the top hitters in the game, switch hitter. And Dansby Swanson made an electric play to end the game last night. He There was a slow dribbler hit to short. He pump fake to first base. The runner goes from second to third. He rounds third. He took a hard turn around third, and Dansby Swanson dove at him to make the final out. Got hype, got me hype, and it was an electric play to end the game. The Braves versus the Padres. The Padres sweep them. The final game being on national television. Fernando Tatis going out there and making a case for NL MVP, like my boy Joe Vaughn called in the prediction video. If you haven't seen that yet, go tune in. I'll be dropping shorts about the NL MVP later on in the week. Make sure you stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram right here at that kid Mercado. Tatis is batting 467 with 1 home run, 2 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Joe says, "Shout out to Ty." Yeah, Ty. There's only 2 winless teams in the chat, and it's the Tigers and the Braves. Figure it out, fellas. Figure it out. Um, Jackson Merrill, 462, no home runs, 5 RBIs, came up with another double. After the game today, he was interviewed and he said that he figured something out in his swing where he he's not swinging more for power. He's found the middle range of power and contact, and now he's starting to produce more extra base hits. So, and Luis Arias, strange, but he has not gotten a hit in 3 games. It's weird. In 4 games, actually. That's weird. That's weird. You don't really see that from a hitter of his caliber. Um, he's been hitting the ball well. Like today, he hit a couple of line drives to the second baseman, and the second baseman ended up making a nice play. But it's just weird not seeing Arias in the hit category yet. And I feel like that pitching rotation just dominated the Braves hitters this series. Today, the Braves only got 1 hit in the entire game, and it was Orlando Arcia. It wasn't even one of their big guys. And Marcelo Zuna had great numbers going up against Nick Pivetta, and he was able to shut him down with his execution of his pitches today. And Nick Pivetta was a free agency acquisition, recently played for the Red Sox. And Xander Bogaerts said in the interview that it reminded him of his days when Xander was in Boston. So, for if they are going to be able to compete with pitching like that, it's going to be big in that NL West. Yu Darvish is not healthy right now. Once he gets healthy, I feel like they are going to be able to compete big time in that division. Dylan Cease pitched great. Michael King again pitched great. The Braves offense just they were hitting the ball pretty hard. There were a couple line drives that were right at the guys, and the Padres were just playing some great defense overall as a team. So they were able to keep them off base. And then we go to the final series of the show. We got the Astros taking 2 out of 3 versus the Mets. I've been saying it all along. The Mets offense, yeah, they went out and re-signed Pete Alonso. They went out and got Jose Siri. Jose Siri is not an offensive threat. He's a guy that's going to be a threat on the bases, but he has to get on base in order to be a threat on the bases. Um, the only guy that really excelled this series was, of course, newly acquired Juan Soto. Uh, 15 years, $765 million. You better be doing something, especially after the first game where he ended up striking out at one of the worst pitches that I've ever seen him swing at in his career. But of course, he comes back in the next game and hits a home run. Um, he batted 333 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Altuve is batting 455 with no home runs and no RBIs. I feel like they need to bring Altuve back to second base. He does not look good in left field at all. In spring training, he was dropping routine fly balls. His tracking was not good at all. And it even showed this series when Juan Soto hit a double off the wall. It could have been caught, but Jose Altuve just took a terrible route to the ball. So he either has to figure it out in left, or they need to just bring him back into the infield and play second base because he, hate to say it, is having a Hall of Fame career. Um, Again, I hate to say it because of the not the allegations, but the cheating scandal that went down, and he was a big part of it. Uh, Like, I'll never understand why you hit a walk-off home run to send your team into the World Series and you complain about them ripping off your jersey because you got a new tattoo and your wife didn't want the world to see it. That's BS. Let's just call it what it is. It's BS. Um, Alvarez needs to figure it out. He had a couple hits this series. He hit a double off the wall for an RBI. But other than that, he didn't really hit well. Pete Alonso didn't really do anything this series either. Francisco Lindor, they're gonna come after you, brother. Pitchers are going to go after you because you bat in front of Juan Soto, and they're going to get you out so that if Juan Soto gets them for a home run, it'll only be a solo shot, right? He has not been able to get a hit yet, but again, just like Devers, he has an RBI because of bases loaded walk. So I feel like Francisco Lindor will figure it out. He had a terrible spring though, so I feel like it's just kind of building up, and he needs to reset. Maybe when they go to New York and he's back home, he'll burst out and have a good series. But until then, he's not what I thought he would be. I ranked him at the number one shortstop in the game right now, above Ellie and Bobby Witt, and he's making me look bad. He's making me look bad. Um, I mean, let's hope he can figure it out. For the Mets' sake, they need it, right? Because of everything that they're expected to do, based on what they went out and did in the offseason. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. I will be back later on in the week for another Yankees recap. They got the Diamondbacks coming to town on Tuesday. Other than that, make sure you guys are tuning in to all the rest of the shows on the network. Shout out to the network. Shout out to all the shows. Shout out to all my followers, all the subscribers. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next episode of BWT. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.